We've lost a friend. Good evening. I'm Jack Williams.
And I'm Lisa Hughes. We begin tonight remembering Congressman Joe Moakley. A 74-year-old Democrat, the dean of the Massachusetts delegation, died this afternoon at the Bethesda Naval Hospital in Maryland, surrounded by his family and by friends. In February, Mr. Moakley announced he had terminal cancer. He had been in the hospital this time since last Monday. Tonight, the flag at the U.S. Capitol in Washington will be lowered to half-staff. Flags around the Bay State will be lowered as well to remember a man who we all know gave so much through public service. Tonight, Bay Staters are remembering the man who was their congressman really for more than 30 years.
WBZ senior correspondent John Henning tonight takes a look back at Joe Moakley's distinguished career.
In being an old-fashioned type politician, I've taken a lot of pride in helping lots of folks find their lost Social Security checks, help get them into the VA hospital, expedite student loans.
Politics was never glamorous for John Joseph Moakley. It was all about helping people. For him, there's no finer legacy.
He has touched the hearts of all of our people, and he's made a remarkable difference in their lives and in their hopes. He's a voice for the voiceless and for all those who need our help the most.
It's a long way since the old Harbor Village project. But in reality, we never left.
It was a remarkable odyssey that took a boy from public housing in his beloved South Boston and made him one of the Bay State's most influential leaders. For Joe Moakley, the stage may have been national, but the focus was always local.
He's like my second father. I mean, he's my best friend, and you know, I love him a lot.
Now a congressman himself, Jim McGovern was Moakley's chief of staff and close confidant for years.
Look out the window and the skyline in Boston. There's not a federal project in the state that he doesn't have his fingerprints on.
Moakley played a role in just about every aspect of Boston's recent history. He was the powerful pal able to negotiate choppy waters in Washington when the big dig soared over its initial cost estimates. The champion of neighborhood concerns, fighting Massport's attempt to expand Logan Airport. The hands-on legislator who helped secure support to renovate Faneuil Hall, a project that transformed downtown Boston a quarter of a century ago.
I really have given this job the very best, and I'm very proud of all my accomplishments.
It was a political skill learned at the feet of a master. Moakley revered House Speaker Thomas P. O'Neill and followed his example, living by the adage, all politics is local. A fighter since the day he lied about his age to join the military at 15 or won a seat in the Massachusetts legislature as a 25-year-old, Moakley beat the odds many times, living through a liver transplant and several bouts with cancer. His eternally optimistic spirit created a strong bond with the people he proudly represented.
Joe Moakley is just a fine example of, one of the bright spots in politics.
We respect and we have a great deal of admiration for Joe Moakley.
He's a good man.
Joe Moakley spent the last 30 years on Capitol Hill wielding tremendous clout as a ranking member of the influential Rules Committee. He had as much enthusiasm and respect for his job on his last day as he did the day he started. Next to his wife Evelyn, it was truly the love of his life.
One of the doctors says, Congressman, you may not survive the current term in office. What you should do is go out and do something you really love to do. I said, Doctor, I've been doing what I really love to do for the last 30 years. Oh, Danny boy!
That's because Joe Moakley still lived a life where politics is about people, making them laugh, but taking their concerns to his heart. As a tireless advocate for health care, education, and human rights, his loss will leave a great void in Massachusetts and in Washington.
If President Kennedy were here today, we all know what he'd say. He'd call Joe Moakley a true profile in courage.
Joe Moakley was accustomed to high praise, having law school libraries bear his name, and a president salute him in the House chamber he loved so much.
A fine representative and a good man, Congressman Joe Moakley.
Sure, it was nice, but that was never what it was all about for one of South Boston's finest.
I would like to be remembered as a guy that never forgot where he came from. Everybody should try to make a difference. I think I made a little difference around here.
This afternoon in South Boston, I talked to University of Massachusetts President William Bolger. 3 months ago, Joe Moakley asked Bolger to give one of the eulogies at his funeral.
The importance of reputation, the importance of remaining faithful to your job, to your duty. Those things were part of him. So he was the sort of a person who always, it was reassuring. And it's reassuring right now that he would have told us so frequently that I'm doing fine, I'm not afraid, and I can handle all of this. I think it's exactly what a good friend would want to convey to concerned friends.
Veterans who saluted their departed brothers and sisters in South Boston today recalled the World War II Navy vet and 15-term congressman who fought for them in Washington, from projects as large as the Big Dig to benefits for veterans and services for individual constituents.
He never forgot where he came from.
John GILCOINE, a cousin of Joe Moakley, recalls his World War II homecoming.
He just got home from the Navy, and he came down the house and he picked me up with one hand. For some reason, that's always stuck in my mind how strong he was. And it's just he's going to be awful.
He was always there for people. He wasn't a person that you couldn't have access to. He was always there when somebody had a problem or needed a little help or anything of that sort.
Moakley almost retired in 1995 for health reasons. He'd undergone removal of most of his kidneys and a liver transplant. His wife Evelyn died in 1996. The dean of the Bay State delegation, known for his role in accomplishments ranging from the Big Dig to the federal courthouse that bears his name, is known here as a neighborhood guide.
Well, Joe was in all our hearts here in Southie because he remembered every single person going, no matter what walk of life you're in, you know. I don't mean to get sentimental, but he was a guy that was for everybody, rich and poor.